Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to this live stream for Swoosh English and Connetics. My name is Luke, and today we will be looking at some task ones and analysing task ones for your IELTS writing tests. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, analysing task one data. In task ones, you may have to describe data. You may also have to describe a diagram. The diagram tasks there are maps, describing processes, or describing a machine or object. Today, we are looking at data. So the data containing tasks in task one are bar charts, pie charts, tables, line graphs, or a mix of the two different types. So for example, you might get a line graph with a small table, or you might get a pie chart with a bar chart. Actually, lots of people get a bit scared of the combination of for example, a pie chart and a line graph, for example. Actually, they tend to be quite easy because each of the different task types is not very detailed, and it is very obvious how you should paragraph. Good evening to Abir and good evening to Alice. Hi, Grace. Lovely to have you joining us. Hi, Anna. Great to have you here with us. So welcome everybody to the stream. Anyway, let's carry on. Yeah, great to see you all here, guys. So the combination of, for example, a bar chart with a table is actually probably slightly easier. The paragraphing is very obvious. You will probably paragraph in one paragraph, you'll put the bar chart. In the other paragraph, you'll describe the table. And the individual tasks are usually not that detailed. So it's usually a bit easier if you have more than one task type mixed together. Remember, you should not focus excessively on detail. If you look at the task achievement band descriptors, under band 5 for task achievement, it says there might be a tendency to focus on detail. If you are writing 250 words for your task 1, you are probably doing that. So think about ways to group the data together. You probably won't be giving every number. Depends a bit on the task. Some of them you don't really have a choice, but if there is a lot of data, you need to think about how to group it effectively and what points are important. And you also need a clear overview of the main trends. Hi, Claire Lee. Welcome to the stream. Lovely to have you joining us. So looking at task ones today. So there are several problems that people have with these academic task ones. You need to think carefully about what is being shown, and you need to try and use your own vocabulary. You cannot completely rely on the vocabulary given to you in the task. That is a very bad idea. Try to vary your vocabulary a bit and really show the examiner your range. You need to be precise in the way you describe the task. If, for example, you start talking about proportions and percentages when the task is showing a number, you are likely not to get a very good score for task achievements because you are misrepresenting the data. Equally, if you start talking about the number of people when you have percentages or proportions, you have to be really, really careful. Okay, welcome Hazel joining us from Riyadh. Lovely to have you with us. You passed your IELTS last week. Massive congratulations to Hazel. Really happy for you. And now I hope you can get on with the next adventure in your life. Well done to you, Hazel. Hi, Aparna, and hi, Zab as well. So remember that you have to be very precise in the way that you describe the task. If you have, for example, percentages, and then you have a percentage in 2020 and a prediction in 2025, you cannot say that the number in 2025 is larger. Percentages and proportions don't actually often don't tell you anything about the total number. So let's say, for example, 50% of women in a country go to school in 2020, and by 2025, that has increased to 70% of the women in the country. We can't say that the number of women has gone up. It could be that all the women not in education have left and gone somewhere else, or maybe the total population has fallen. So in that case, number would be the wrong word to use. You have to be really careful. So as I said, think about words like numbers, percentages, and proportions. You can't always use number and percentage interchangeably, especially if the data is showing different years. So be really careful with that. And as I said, to avoid this excessive detail, it can be helpful to group the data. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples. We're trying to think about ways that what the chart is showing and ways we might describe it. So have a quick look at this bar chart. What data is shown by the numbers on this bar chart? Can you think of any other ways to explain the numbers? What is the overall trend? And is that trend ever broken? So this is the highest level way that we would look at these charts when we're doing our task ones. We're interested, what data is shown on the chart? What do the numbers mean? Think of other ways to explain them. Can you think of any synonyms? What's the overall trend? You don't have to think too much about it. You don't have to look in detail usually. It should be obvious from the first time you look at that chart. And is that trend ever broken? So who can help me out? What numbers are being shown on this chart? What do those numbers mean? Any ideas? Feel free to write into the comments box and let us know. What are the numbers being shown on this chart? Any ideas? Yeah. Good, Anna. Yeah, good. Age of what? Can you think it? So yeah, the numbers are ages. Yes, definitely. Can you think of any ways to explain those numbers? Expected age to live. Good, Cams. Good. Yes. Yeah. Okay, good. What's the overall trend here? Women seem to be careful with the spelling parts. Women seem to love longer than men. Be careful with the spelling there, Pars. Yes. Live longer. There we go. Well done. Well done. Good save. Oh goodness, I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Isiep. I'm sorry if I've really mispronounced your name. I hope I got that right. Okay, good, Cams. Is the trend ever broken? Yes or no? Good, John Samuel. Yeah, brilliant. Well done. So yeah, I think everybody's got it. Well done, everyone. So the chart, those numbers show the average age to which men and women are expected to live. No problem, Pards. I know, obviously typing very quickly. Get your answer in before he gives it. So well done. Well done. Okay, and that trend is never broken. Good, Cams. So the numbers shown on this chart, the average age to which men and women are expected to live. Other ways to explain the numbers: male and female life expectancy, the average lifespan of men, the average lifespan of women, the average age to which people live. So there's a few other ways that we can say that. What's the overall trend here? Now, look at the use of this verb, women outlive men. Outlive means live longer than. Quite high level vocabulary for this task and very specific to the task. Is that trend ever broken? No. Women outlive men in all of the countries for which data is given. Okay, good. Well done, everyone. Next one. Now, be really careful with this word segments. segments are not the same thing as sectors. People often get them confused. What is shown, the slices on a pie chart, are sectors, not segments. So be really, really careful if you're using the word segments in these pie charts. It doesn't mean what you think it means. So what data is shown by the segments? Sorry, not the segments, definitely not the segments. What data is shown by these sectors? Can you think of any other ways to explain the numbers? What is the maximum? What is the minimum? Those are the two most significant pieces of data on this pie chart. This pie chart, to be honest, would probably be given with another form of data containing task. You might get a pie chart like this with a line graph or a bar chart or something like that. There's not enough detail to write a full task one on this. If you got this, a task one would not look like this. Too difficult to write 150 words, and you would have to give all of the data. So in this one, what is being shown by these slices, the sectors on the chart? Any ideas? Any ideas? Good. Yeah, good. Really good. Isyep. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Isyep? Is that close enough? If it is, just say yes in the comments. Okay. And I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Okay, yeah, good. So it's the ratio of people per doctor in different countries. The ratio of doctors per people, be really careful with how you explain it, Cams. Okay, it's peachy, fantastic. Be really careful. There's not 20,000 doctors per person. It's people per doctor. Okay. So otherwise, if that was the case, most people in Rwanda would be doctors. Ratio of patients to doctors, brilliant, Nana. Good, loads of ways to describe that. What's the maximum? Which country? Which country is the maximum and which is the minimum? Pachu, hi Pachu. Please explain more. Yeah, it's the ratio of people per doctor, number of people for every doctor. If you say it's the ratio of doctors per people, that would mean 20,000 doctors per person in Nepal. That would be, firstly, you're implying that doctors aren't people. And secondly, that would be a crazy proportion or a crazy ratio. Random maximum. And the minimum there is Latvia. Good, well done. Well done. Good, everyone. Well done, Cams. Well done, Anna. Yeah, Nana. Good. So it's the number of patients per doctor in each country. Other ways to say it, the ratio of patients per doctor. There are X patients for every doctor. Rwanda has a staggering 72,990 patients for every doctor. Staggering, a huge number for each doctor. What is the minimum? The ratio of patients per doctor in Latvia is 200 to 1. So ratio 200 patients to 1 doctor. Okay. Yeah, good. Good, everyone. Well done. And next one, this little bar chart here. So what data is shown on the bar chart? Again, think of other ways to explain the numbers. What's the overall trend, and is the trend ever broken? It's quite nice here because, oh, well, I will tell you that in a minute. I'm about to give you an answer. So what data is shown on this chart? Can you think of other ways to explain the numbers? What's the overall trend? And is that trend ever broken? Or is it always true? What do we think, guys? So what's being shown here? what's being shown. If a trend is broken, it is not always true. If a trend is broken, it is not always true. Is this trend ever broken, or is it always true? So what's being shown in the chart, this is showing the percentage of males and females aged over 15 who can read and write. Yeah, the percentage of male and female over 15s who can read and write, should say and write there. Can you think of any other ways to say this? The percentage of literate people, the literacy rate amongst men, the literacy rate amongst women, etc. So the overall trend here, the literacy rate amongst males aged over 15 is higher. Yeah, male consistently dominates in reading and writing. Yes, ECF. Is the trend ever broken? No. The trend here is not broken. The literacy rate amongst males aged over 15 is higher across the globe or around the world. Yeah, so it's never broken. Okay, the bars are not showing age, Aparna. They are showing a percentage of people who can read and write. The percentage of people aged over 15 who can read and write, and it is always higher for men or males. You would have to be a bit careful when you're giving these overall trends. If one of the percentages here was higher for females, you would have to add in there except in this place. So if the trend is broken, then you want to mention it. Okay. Hi, Jackie. Not sure what you're talking about, but welcome to the stream. Karina Palmario, watch this. Sissy, follow Modin. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about. English in the comments, if you can, please. Okay. Good. When we say it's never broken across the globe, isn't that an opinion? No. How is that? That's not an opinion. This is showing all parts of the world, yeah, each regions. So be really, really careful. Yes, in every case, it is higher amongst men. That is across the globe. That is global. Okay, that doesn't change in a different region of the world. Okay, lastly, really quickly, because we're running out of time here, guys. So what data is shown on the chart or the charts? How is the data divided, and what are the overall trends? So I'm just going to skirt through this one really quickly, guys. If you want to go back and pause the video and break it down, because we are now over the time. But I will go through it really quickly. So what data is being shown on this chart? This chart is showing the proportion of people living in urban and rural areas in the world. So I think I'm missing a slide here. Okay, so the chart is showing, yeah, the fonts are quite small, Alice. Unfortunately, we can't really zoom them. So the data shown on the charts, this chart is showing the proportion of the world's population living in urban and rural areas in 1990 and the forecast for 2025. The data is divided amongst the people living in rural areas and people living in urban areas. And it's also divided amongst people living in the developed world and people living in the developing world. The overall trends here, as you can see, by 2025, a much larger proportion of the world's population lives in urban areas. So the proportion in living in urban areas has grown significantly by 2025, and the proportion of people living in the developing world is much larger than the proportion of people living in the developed world. Okay, this is more like the kind of thing that you would get in a real task 1 compared to the first pie chart that we looked at. This is quite complex. There's lots of different comparisons to make. The comparison between the urban and rural areas, and the comparisons between the developing and the developed world, and the comparison between 1990 and 2025. So there is quite a lot to compare there. Yeah, good, ECEP. There is a massive decrease in people in the percentage of people or the proportion of people living in rural areas. Yes. Good question, Alice. Alice is asking how to talk about these future expectations or projections. Do we say it will or it is? I would say it is expected to. It is predicted that it will. Yeah. Projections about the future are not certain. I would include that uncertainty. It is expected that it will, or it is predicted that. Okay. Right. Thanks a lot for coming along, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and take care, and I hope to see you all next time. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. I hope that was a useful breakdown of some of the things you need to look for in your task 1s. We've looked at a little bit of vocabulary and different ways of describing different subjects as well. So yeah, make sure you watch back through that video. It was a lot of information in not a very long time. So quite an information dense session today. You're welcome, Anna. Alice, my pleasure. ECEP, thank you for joining us. Great to have you here. Pards, Nana, absolutely my pleasure. So take care, everybody, and I will see you next time at the slightly later time of 4 p.m. UK time on Thursday. Pachu, yeah, you'll be using the future, but you need to give some kind of uncertainty. Mention it is predicted or expected that it will something. Yeah. I wouldn't say it will, it's too certain. Predictions are often incorrect. Very famously, predictions being incorrect, I believe it was the head of IBM when computers first sort of started to be used. I think he predicted that something like there would be a global demand for 3 computers, and that was the head of IBM. So I think he was a little bit wrong in his prediction. Yeah, obviously now many hundreds of millions. So, right, thanks for coming along, everybody. Have a fantastic week. And actually, I hope to see you on Thursday. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye.